Hey, it's Max Action here, and we are on the tail end of COVID. So I'm still in relaxed wear a little bit. But I had an interesting experience today that I wanted to share with you. I think it'll be really valuable for you. It was valuable for me. And so today I had to get out of the house. And so I just had to go for a drive. And I wasn't the person driving because I am not in a state right now to be able to focus on where I'm going. But I was able to just ride as a passenger and just ran out, grab a quick fast food run. Okay, great. And so on the way, on one of the street corners I passed, I realized that there was a woman standing there with a big. She's sitting there in a lawn chair holding a sign, and the sign says, "Homeless, hungry, please help. Anything helps." Right? And she had a stroller there as well, and this stroller had a small child in it. Child's legs were kind of hanging out the side, so this kid was passed out. But it broke my heart to see that this woman was sitting on the corner needing to really depend on other people for her own survival and to even take care of her child. That was a really difficult thing to see. And the biggest thing that occurred to me was going, with everything that's available to us right now, access to the internet, access to countless numbers of people, access to information, access to being able to publish things on demand. I mean, we have access to just about anything we could need to build a sustainable income for ourselves. And yet, here she is with a sign that is really just is telling everybody, hey, I need help and I need your help in order to survive. And I saw car after car after car just passing by. So this message that she had that she was delivering was not a very strong one. It didn't attract a whole ton of attention. But I thought, man, you have the abilities. You've got the ability and the access to things, because I know a lot of people that are still struggling, that still have cell phones and still have internet service. So you have access to these things. What is it that you're missing? Why is it that you have not created something like that? And it really comes down to one thing, and that's education. Because when we don't have the education, we don't even know that something is possible. We don't even know what we're missing. And this particular woman clearly just doesn't have the education. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. And that's clearly a detriment right now. And the important lesson is this, is that your education is very time sensitive. So you need to dig the well before you thirst. Because a lot of people go, okay, I'm just gathering information, I'm just gathering info, getting educated, right? I'm gathering a ton of info. But the question is when are you going to use it? That's the whole point of our 90-day experiment right here. It's just building something together, whether that's a new habit, whether that's a small business that you're taking that first step forward, whether you're educating yourself on how to do something just a little bit better. But it's a concerted effort over the course of 90 days of educating ourselves in some way, of using it and implementing what we've learned so it becomes a useful tool for us. Education is not going to matter if you get it and then never use any of it. Now, has she been educated to a certain extent? Yeah, she's been educated enough to write a sign. Now, what if she educated herself in the form of copywriting and just wrote a much better message that somebody would respond to? For us learning something new, how can our education be of value to someone else that doesn't know it, right? If our education and what we know can solve a problem for someone else, we become valuable. Our knowledge, our education, that becomes valuable. And it's in that value that you can exchange for money that you never have to worry about being broke ever again. So the question becomes, what do you need to be educated on right now, this moment? What is it that you need most? Because sometimes the education that you think you need isn't really the education that you need right now. So some people think, I need a new marketing technique. I need a new way to write a snazzy headline. I need a new way to create a fantastic graphic or a new logo. And really, the education that you might need is the habit of discipline, right? Because there are a ton of people that gather and have millions of ideas, but still haven't taken action on just one. Or if they've started on one, they just didn't follow through with it. So maybe it's not just the starting of it, maybe it's the discipline to keep consistent with it. It's the idea of following through with it, right? That's the whole concept of our 90 days. This 90-day challenge is to stay consistent with something, is to follow through with it. And every single day, we're just getting a little bit better. But it's the education, but it's education through experience. Because you're experiencing the results. You're taking action every single day and learning through experience rather than just learning through books. Because don't get me wrong, books are great, but books are easy. Books don't take a lot of energy in order to read. It can be very enjoyable, it can be relaxing, but it doesn't take a lot of energy. Taking action and creating a habit around what you learned takes energy, takes consistency, takes focus. This is part of why I started this 90-day challenge, was for myself, because I needed something that would hold me accountable every single day to create a new video, because my videos were actually terrible. Now, I'd like to think that this video here, being video number 69, sorry, I gotta laugh at that. Come on, it's funny. So, being the 69th video that I've made, has to be better than the very first one that I made. Has to. At least a little bit better. I mean, I've been doing 69 of these things. So the whole idea is we're getting our education through taking action, through staying consistent with it, through building something. And we're building a habit. We're building a new mindset. We're building a new skill set. We're building something new. And maybe a couple of different things are being built during this time together. But it's in the holding of accountability. It's in the taking action that you're learning something. If you don't take action on something, you're not going to learn anything new. And then by the time that you need that information the most, you need that education, you need that experience, that's the point that you don't have it. And you don't want to be in that position where you say, man, I started something 3 years ago, I quit doing it, and I really wish I had that skill set now. That skill set would really do me a lot of good right now. I probably would have made a whole ton of money. I probably wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in. Things would be 100% different had I done something 3 years ago that I'm just starting today. That's what I want you to think about when it comes to doing something hard. When it comes to looking at what the education is that you need right now. What's the hard thing that you have to learn? It might be discipline. It might be being held accountable to things that you really don't want to be held accountable to. It might be pushing yourself to do those things that really make you uncomfortable. So I've started, well, at least in the past couple weeks here, started reaching out to just random strangers that I meet and starting conversations, which that to me was was scary. It was difficult to do, but I started doing it. And I'm going to start doing this more once I make sure that I'm not contagious to anyone. But this is the whole point, is learning through experience. Realizing that those things that you fear, those things that are difficult, that education that you're scared to get, that once you get it, you realize it wasn't that scary in the first place. And it can actually really change your life in a short period of time. But at least you're getting the education now when it really matters, rather than waiting for that point that you look back and you say, I really wish I would have started sooner. Or even to the point where you say, I really wish I would have stayed consistent with that thing that I started. Because it's one thing to start, It's another thing to follow through with it. Things aren't always going to be easy. In fact, if there's no challenge to it, realize life is not really that exciting. So that's kind of the reframe that I found to really be empowering, is to look at it and say, I want the challenge. I salivate at the challenge, right? This is the mindset that I've created for myself, is I salivate at those challenges. I want it to be hard, because if it's easy, I'm probably not learning anything. If it's easy for me to do, then I could have done it all the time anyway, right? It's not a challenge. I'm not learning anything. I'm not growing from it. But if it puts me in a position that's difficult, then I have to do it. I must do it, because that means I'm going to grow. It means I'm going to learn. It means life is exciting again. And once you start taking on those kinds of challenges where you're not sure if you're going to succeed, right? It's pushing outside your comfort zone. I hope that's your goal for this 90 days, is it really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. It makes you do things that you're not comfortable doing. Because when you can push outside your comfort zone, when you're excited about those challenges, when you feel alive being challenged and pushing yourself to that next level, that's where life really begins. That's where a life worth living truly begins. Because you're focused on growing as a person. You're focused on learning those new things. You're educating yourself through experience, through action. It's not just theoretical. You're just reading a whole ton of books, a whole ton of knowledge that you've never actually used and never know if it actually works or not. Taking the first step is hard. Being consistent and being disciplined to keep going is even harder, but it's worth it. I guarantee you it's worth it. So by you taking that first step and looking at life as being a challenge, being excited for it, expecting the challenge, wanting the challenge, demanding the challenge, that's where life begins. That's where it starts getting exciting again. That's where things start really becoming worthwhile. But you get that education now, before you need it, rather than waiting until that time that you really wish you had it. So really take a look at it right now. And I want you to start thinking about maybe what that lesson is that you need to learn. Maybe you've learned a really important lesson through the 69 days that we've gone through so far. And maybe there's an important lesson that you still need to learn, and you're just a little bit afraid to take that first step and take action on it and really experience it for yourself. But I'm here to encourage you to do that. I'm here to encourage you to take that first step, if you haven't already, to get the education you need through experience, not just through reading, not just through watching videos or taking notes or whatever, but through actual real world experience. Because when you can live it, when you experience it, that's when you really know it deep inside. That's when you own the lesson, you own the skill, instead of just having theoretical knowledge about it. So I hope this video was valuable for you. And like I said, get that education. I'm always looking for, where do I need to be educated? What's the next thing that I can do to make myself just a little bit better? And that's what I'm focused on doing every single day. And so, got all passionate. I got a little dizzy here. So I'm excited for our conversation again tomorrow and for the rest of our 90 days together. And I'm already mapping out where we're going to go and what I'm going to be doing after the 90 days. And I hope to see you on that journey as well with me. And it'll be super exciting. So till tomorrow, when I see you again, we're going to be holding you accountable. I know you're going to be here holding me accountable. So I'm super excited to see you tomorrow. Until then, make sure you take action now.